Welcome to another day with Montevino Valentine. I am the co-founder of the Pride FX movement. Now, if you have not subscribed, please do subscribe, hit the like button as well as the notification bell so that you do receive future videos we do have on this channel. Now, we are still basically doing the full wired VMJ system. And if you have watched the review, you would understand where I'm coming from and what does all the indicators mean for you in the past, right? And so now I also spoke about where this comes from, and it's not really fully wired VMJ, and it's also not called the belly system. It's actually called the Burocoso system. But if you want to watch the review, please go over to that and watch that. Very important and also good information that was given on that video. Now let's get straight into today's video. Today we are covering how to use the system effectively, how to get to the 80%, how to get to 100% of using this strategy. Now it's going to take some time for me to explain, and we're going to dive straight into what we need to do. So the first thing is that you can see I do have two charts on my screen, the 4-hour as well as the 15-minute time frame screens, okay? But most of you are using it on the 15-minute but don't understand why you are still losing money. So let's get into the 4-hour for me to actually break down why you need to have two screens to understand where the market is going, or you can have one screen and just look at where the market is heading on the 4-hour chart. Now the 4-hour chart is basically the most important chart to use on the system. No matter what, it's still going to stay the best, and it's going to be the best all the time. Why? Because the 4-hour is in between the market noise as well as the higher time frames that gives you a direction of where the market needs to go. So what this system does basically is it explains to you where the market is heading, but you don't really know where the market is heading. Let's be honest about that. So basically, we do have a resistance and we do have a support. These two levels are so important to the system because it tells you where the market is heading, right? And it also tells you when to buy, when to exit your buy trades, and when to exit your sell trades. Now, from what you can see on my screen is that there is a lot of emotion going to where you are expected to go. Now that is where the 15-minute time frame comes in, but we will look at that a little later. Okay, I first want to explain to you how does the support and resistance work. Okay, so from this point we can see that that is where you would have started taking those sell trades. Now for most of you, you would have thought that, okay, I'm going to take the sell trades with the 4-hour. But in actual fact, it's not the 4-hour that controls your entries. It's actually the 15-minute time frame that controls your entries for earlier entries, right? And so over here, we do have a sell, right? But what happens after that sell? Most of you would have said the market reversed, it went into consolidation, which is actually correct, because when we look at this, the market actually respects the 23% line, right? This is the 23% line, this line over here where the 23 is. So over here is where the market respects that line. Okay, and why is this line so important? It acts as a support. All these numbers acts as a support as well as a resistance going down to where you would want the market to go down to. So these are very important lines, so please do not get that lines out over there, right? Make sure that lines are always there. So what happens? The market drops, it touches our 23% line, it actually crosses over, but then the market goes back to that line and it stays there for quite some time. Now obviously, like I said, the 15-minute time frame will be better for you to use when you are looking for these trades. And we can see the market goes back, it goes back there, tries to touch our 38% line, and what happens? The market goes back up to that point. Now why is that? Because that is actually a verified support level on our Burocoso. Okay, Then it breaks through, and where does it end up? It ends up at this point, which is our 50% line. And what happens? The market flats, it flatlines. You can say stagnates, you can say consolidate, but you can see that the market is actually flat when it comes to the 50%. Then we break through, and we can see that the market is still there for quite some time, and then it breaks down to this, which is our 76% line. It moves back to our 61%, and then eventually goes to our exit, which is 100%. So like I said to you, it gives you direction on what you're going to do on the 15-minute time frame. And the same applies when we do look up. We can see that the market came here. So what are we expecting? The market to play around in the zone for some time before it goes to the 61, bounces back to the 76, goes up to the 50%, bounces back to the 61%, goes up to the 38%, bounces down to the 50, to the 23, bounces a little, and then goes to the 100%, which is 0. So very interesting that you do know that, because in Forex there's always a story to be told of what the indicator does. Okay, so what happens from here? So if you're looking at this, we can see that the market is over there. So where are we expected to take our take profit if the market is at this 100%? So from the 100%, we do understand that the market could either break out and come and play around by the 76. So what do we need to do, right? What do we need to do from there? We need to go back to the 15-minute chart, right? The 15-minute chart will tell us what to do. So if we go back to the 15-minute chart, we can see that the market is over exceeding that 100% level, right? But is it actually 100%? It's not really actually 100%, because when we come over to the 4-hour, we can still see that there's still space that the market needs to clear. And that space is from here around this area. There is still a lot of space for the market to clear. So that is what I'm speaking about, that 100%. Now, what would most of you have done when the market touched that on the 15-minute chart? You would have went to go and take a sell trade, because the market has maximized that 100% to the next resistance level, which is not really resistance. And that's why I'm saying most of these things would repaint, because that's not actually the resistance that we are looking for. Okay, so what are we waiting for? We are actually waiting for this to close, right? We are waiting for that to close over there, and we are going to use that information for our next entry, right? So our next entry would be at the level that we are given at that 60%, 67% level, right? Which would be that amount over there. So 1.13041, that is where we are going to enter. So you could put your pending orders, you could wait for market execution just to enter immediately it touches that amount of the difference between euro and USD. So you could have entered after that has occurred, right? And then once you take that sell at that point, you are actually looking to take that down to the 100%. So just like I said, this empty space over here, so let me just highlight that space for you. So this space over here, right? This space over here, that space over there is actually telling us that the market must move up to that point. And now why do I say so? Because when you look at price action, right? When we look at price action is telling us that there is a very good resistance at that point. We can see the amount of touches, 1, 2, 3, 4 touches over there, right? So it's telling us that that is a verified support. Now you're saying to me, Monty, what if I take a sell there and then the market doesn't give me an exit at that 100? It's not supposed to give you that. So what you are looking for is to take your trades over there, just as we said, 1.13547, and you're going to exit the market over there. Now don't focus too much on these levels. They're going to repaint in the future. Okay, so in the future, when the market does decide to go to that 101%, then we're going to see the market come back down to the 100%, and then we're going to have what has occurred in the past on our 4-hour chart. So on our 4-hour chart, let me just go back to the normal 4-hour chart, and we can see that what has occurred over here is that the market was playing at that 161 level. It went back to the 100 level, back to the 161 level, and then eventually started playing around at a 138. Now what are you saying, Monty? Is that when the market gets to this area, right, 138, we are excluding the zero level, right? We are excluding the zero level because that's not where the market is heading. If we look at the 4-hour, like I said to you at the start of this, we know that the market needs to go to the zero if we are looking at what is going on over here, right? And the same applies over here. We need the market to actually go back to the 100%, which is down here. So we are looking for this to happen down there, right? So the same thing needs to be done when the market comes over here. It needs to go back to that zero. So what am I saying is that when the market goes to a 168 level, we're going to go back to the 100 level, we're going to go back to the 168, and then when the market starts playing around at a 38%, because we know that the market is still trending down, we know that now we're going to stick between the 100 and the 138. Eventually we're going to have a breakout, and then the market is going to refresh on our 15-minute chart with this numbers, right? So it's going to give us new numbers to look at where our exit points are and where our entry points are. So let's go back in there. So where are we looking to take trades, guys? We are looking to take trades on our 15-minute chart from this point, right? We are looking to take our trades from this point, and we are going to hold it to that 168 level, right? Our 168 level is this level above. And how do we know that? Is because when we took that trades, we were over here, right? We were over here, and we can see the amount of space that still needs to be cleared for us to get to that 168 level on our 15-minute time frame. So all the space here would amount to that 168, and from that 168 we want to take sales back down into our green level, and from our green level we want to take trades back up to the 168 if it hasn't repainted on our chart on the 15-minute yet, right? And so if it does repaint, we're going to get at 100% levels back, and then we have that from our 76% we are going back to the 61%, and from our 61% we go back to our 76%, and then we move up to this point, which will be 168. So it's all about looking at your analysis and what has been done in the past. It's very simple, guys, very easy to understand. So this system will be sent to you today. Have a look at it and also look at what we have covered in this video. So for instance, the rest of it, why I'm not explaining it, it's very simple to the eye. We know we should be buying at these levels, and we know we should be exiting at that 168, 161 level. And if we come back down, we would be closing at that 100% because the market is going to play in that zigzag pattern. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your week.